Enoch, the Book of the Watchers, Chapter 1. The words of the Barakah of Enoch, with which he baraked the elect and the righteous, who will be living in the day of tribulation, when all the wicked and unrighteous are to be removed. And he took up his parable and said, Enoch, a righteous man, whose eyes were opened by Elohim, saw the vision of the Kadosh One and the Shemayim which the messenger showed me. And from them I heard all matters, and from them I understood as I saw, but not for this generation, but for a distant one, which is to come. Concerning the elect I said, and took up my parable concerning them, the Kadosh Great One will come forth from his dwelling, and the eternal Elohim will tread upon the earth on Mount Sinai, and appear from his camp, and appear in the strength of his might from the Shemayim of Shemayim. And all shall be smitten with fear, and the watchers shall quake, and the great fear and trembling shall seize them unto the ends of the earth. And the high mountains shall be shaken, and the high hills shall be made low, and shall melt like wax before the flame. And the earth shall be completely torn in pieces, and all that is upon the earth shall perish, and there shall be judgment upon all. But with the righteous he will make peace, and will protect the elect, and compassion shall be upon them, and they shall all belong to Elohim, and they shall be prospered, and they shall all be Baruch. And he will help them all, and light shall appear unto them, and he will make peace with them. And see, he comes with 10,000s of his Kodeshim to execute judgment upon all, and to destroy all the wicked, and to convict all flesh of all the works of their wickedness which they have committed wickedly, and of all the harsh matters which wicked sinners have spoken against him. Chapter 2. Observe all matters that take place in the Shemayim, how they do not change their orbits, and the lights which are in the Shemayim, how they all rise and put in order each in its season, and do not transgress against their appointed order. See the earth, and give heed to that which takes place upon it from first to last, how steadfast they are, how none of that on earth changes, but all the works of Elohim appear to you. See the summer and the winter, how the whole earth is filled with water, and clouds and dew and rain lie upon it. Chapter 3. Observe and see how all the trees seem as though they had withered and shed all their leaves, except 14 trees, which do not lose their foliage, but retain the old foliage from 2 to 3 years till the new comes. Chapter 4. And again, observe the days of summer, how the sun is above the earth over against it. And you seek shade and shelter because of the heat of the sun, and the earth also burns with growing heat. And so you cannot tread on the earth or on a rock because of its heat. Chapter 5. Observe how the trees cover themselves with green leaves and bear fruit. Therefore give heed, and know with regard to all his works, and recognize how he that lives forever has made them so. And all his works go on from year to year forever, and all the tasks which they accomplish for him, and their tasks do not change, but according to how Elohim has ordained, so it is done. And see how the sea and the rivers in the same way accomplish and do not change their task from his commandments. But you have not been steadfast, nor done the commandments of Yahuwah, but you have turned away and spoken proud and harsh words with your impure mouths against his greatness. O you hard-hearted, you shall find no peace. Therefore you shall loathe your days, and the years of your life shall perish, and the years of your destruction shall be multiplied in eternal loathing, and you shall find no compassion. In those days you shall make your names an eternal loathing unto all the righteous, and by you all who curse shall curse, and all the sinners and wicked shall loathe by you, and for you, the wicked, there shall be a curse. And all shall rejoice, and there shall be forgiveness of sins, and every compassion and peace and patience. There shall be salvation unto them, a pleasant light. And for all you sinners there shall be no salvation, but on you all a curse shall abide. But for the elect there shall be light and joy and peace, and they shall inherit the earth. And then there shall be given wisdom to the elect, and they shall all live and never again sin, either through wickedness or through pride. But they who are wise shall be humble, and they shall not transgress again, nor shall they sin all the days of their high, nor shall they die of anger or wrath, but they shall complete the number of the days of their high, and their lives shall be increased in peace, and the years of their joy shall be multiplied in eternal gladness and peace all the days of their life. Chapter 6. And it came to be, when the children of men had multiplied, that in those days were born unto them good-looking and lovely daughters. And the messengers, the children of the Shemaim, saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and bring forth children. And Shemyatsah, who was their leader, said to them, I fear you will not indeed agree to do this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of a great sin. And they all answered him and said, Let us all swear an oath, and all bind ourselves by mutual curses, not to abandon this plan, but to do this matter. Then they all swore together, and bound themselves by mutual curses upon it. And they were in all 200 who descended in the days of Ered on the summit of Mount Hermon, and they called it Mount Hermon because they had sworn and bound themselves by mutual curses upon it. And these are the names of their leaders. Shamlatsats, their leader, Arakliba, Ramael, Kokabeel, Tamleel, Ramleel, Daniel, Yehezkel, Barakiel, Asahel, Amoros, Batar-el, Anan-el, Zakleel, Shimshaphe-el, Satar-el, Tsuriel, Yamyael, Sariel. These are their chiefs of tens. Chapter 7. And all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose one for himself, and they began to go in unto them, and to defile themselves with them. And they taught them charms, and enchantments, and the cutting of roots, and made them to know plants. And they became pregnant, and they brought forth great giants, and the giants brought forth Nephilim, and the Nephilim brought forth Eliud, who consumed all the acquisitions of men. And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind. And they began to sin against birds, and beasts, and reptiles, and fish, and to devour one another's flesh, and to drink the blood. Then the earth laid accusation against the lawless ones. Chapter 8. And Azazel taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth and the art of working them, and bracelets and ornaments, and the use of antimony, and the adorning of the eyelids, and all kinds of costly stones, and all coloring tinctures. And there arose much wickedness, and they committed whoring, and they were led astray, and became corrupt in all their ways. Shimyatsah taught enchantments and root cuttings, Armoros, the resolving of enchantments, Barakiel, astrology, Kokabeel, the constellations, Yehezkel, the knowledge of the clouds, Arakiel, the signs of the earth, Shamsiel, the signs of the sun, Sariel, the course of the moon. As men perished, they cried, and their cry went up to the Shemaim. Chapter 9. And then Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel looked down from the Shemaim and saw much blood being shed upon the earth, and all lawlessness being wrought upon the earth. And they said to one another, The earth made without inhabitant cries the voice of their crying up to the gates of the Shemaim. And now to you, the Kodeshim of the Shemaim, the beings of men make their petition, saying, Bring our cause before the Most High. And they said to Yahuwah of the ages, Adon of the masters, Elohim of mighty ones, sovereign of sovereigns, and Elohim of the ages, the throne of your esteem is unto all the generations of the ages, and your name Kodesh and magnificent and Baruch unto all the ages. You have made us all, and you have power over all, and all are naked and open in your sight, and you see all matters, and none can hide themselves from you. You see what Azazel has done, who has taught all unrighteousness on earth, and revealed the eternal secrets which were in the Shemaim, which men were striving to learn. And Shimyatsah, to whom you have given authority to bear rule over his associates. And they have gone to the daughters of men upon the earth, and have slept with the women, and have defiled themselves, and revealed to them all kinds of sins. And the women have borne giants, and by this the whole earth has been filled with blood and unrighteousness. And now, see, the beings of those who have died are crying, and making their petition to the gates of the Shemaim, and their lamentations have ascended. and cannot cease because of the lawless deeds which are wrought on the earth. And you know all matters before they come to pass, and you see these, and you allow them, and you do not say to us what we are to do to them in regard to these. Chapter 10. Then said the Most High, the Kadash and Great One spoke, and sent Uriel to the son of Lamech, and said to him, Go to Noah, and tell him in my name, hide yourself, and reveal to him the end that is approaching, that the whole earth will be destroyed, and a flood is about to come upon the whole earth, and will destroy all that is on it. And now instruct him that he may escape, and his seed may be preserved for all the generations of the world. And again Yahuwah said to Raphael, Bind Azazel hand and foot, and cast him into the darkness, and make an opening in the desert, which is in Dudael, and cast him in there, and place upon him rough and jagged rocks, and cover him with darkness, and let him abide there forever, and cover his face, that he may not see light. And on the day of the great judgment he shall be cast into the fire. And heal the earth, which the messengers have corrupted, and proclaim the healing of the earth, that they may heal the plague, and that all the children of men may not perish through all the secrets that the watchers have disclosed and taught their sons. And the whole earth has been corrupted through the works that were taught by Azazel. To him ascribe all sin. And Yahuwah said to Gabriel, Proceed against the half-breeds and the reprobates, and against the children of whoring, and destroy the children of the watchers from amongst men. Send them one against the other, that they may destroy each other in battle, for they shall not have length of days. And no request that they make of you shall be granted unto their fathers on their behalf, for they expect to live an eternal life, and that each one of them will live 500 years. And Yahuwah said to Michael, Go, bind Shemyatza and his associates who have united themselves with women, so as to have defiled themselves with them in all their uncleanness. And when their sons have slain one another, and they have seen the destruction of their beloved ones, bind them fast for 70 generations in the valleys of the earth, to the day of their judgment and of their complete end, till the judgment that is forever and ever is ended. In those days they shall be led off to the abyss of fire, and to the torment and the prison in which they shall be confined forever. And whoever shall be condemned and destroyed will from thereon be bound together with them to the end of all generations, and destroy all the spirits of the reprobate and the children of the watchers, because they have wronged mankind. Destroy all wicked from the face of the earth, and let every evil work come to an end, and let the plant of righteousness and truth appear, and it shall prove a barakah. The works of righteousness and truth shall be planted in truth and joy forever. And then shall all the righteous escape, and shall live till they bring forth thousands of children, and all the days of their youth and their old age they shall complete in peace. And then the whole earth shall be tilled in righteousness, and shall all be planted with trees, and be full of barakah. And all desirable trees shall be planted on it, and they shall plant vines on it, and the vine which they plant upon it shall yield wine in abundance. And as for all the seed which is sown upon, each measure shall bear 1,000, and each measure of olives shall yield 10 presses of oil. And you, cleanse the earth from all oppression, and from all unrighteousness, and from all sin, and from all wickedness, and all the uncleanness that is wrought upon the earth. Destroy from off of the earth. And all the children of men shall become righteous, and all nations shall offer adoration, and shall praise me, and all shall worship me. And the earth shall be cleansed from all defilement, and from all sin, and from all punishment, and from all torment, and I will never again send upon it from generation to generation, and forever. Chapter 11. And in those days I will open the store chambers of Barakah, which are in the Shemaim, so as to send them down upon the earth over the work and labor of the children of men. And truth and peace shall be associated together throughout all the days of the world, and throughout all the generations of men. Chapter 12. Before these matters Enoch was hidden, and none of the children of men knew where he was hidden, and where he abode, and what had become of him. And his activities had to do with the watchers, and his days were with the Kodeshim. And I, Hanak, Barak Yahuwah of majesty, and the sovereign of the ages. And see, the watchers called me, Hanak the scribe, and said to me, Hanak, you scribe of righteousness, go, declare to the watchers of the Shemaim who have left the high Shemaim, the Kodesh eternal place, and have defiled themselves with women, and have done as the children of earth do, and have taken unto themselves wives. You have wrought great destruction on the earth. And you shall have no peace nor forgiveness of sin, and inasmuch as they delight themselves in their children, the murder of their beloved ones shall they see, and over the destruction of their children shall they lament, and shall make supplication unto eternity, but compassion and peace shall you not attain. Chapter 13. And Enoch went and said, Azazel, you shall have no peace. A severe sentence has gone forth against you to put you in bonds, and you shall not have toleration nor request granted to you, because of the unrighteousness which you have taught, and because of all the works of wickedness and unrighteousness and sin which you have shown to men. Then I went and spoke to them all together, and they were all afraid, and fear and trembling seized them. And they pleaded with me to draw up a petition for them, that they might find forgiveness, and to read their petition in the presence of Yahuwah of the Shemaim. For from there on they could not speak, nor lift up their eyes to the Shemaim for shame of their sins, for which they had been condemned. Then I wrote out their petition and their prayer in regard to their spirits and their deeds individually, and in regard to the request that they should have forgiveness and length. And I went off and sat down at the waters of Dan, in the land of Dan, to the southwest of Hermon. I read their petition till I fell asleep. And see, a dream came to me, and visions fell down upon me. And I saw visions of rebuke, and a voice came bidding to tell it to the sons of the Shemaim, and reprimand them. And when I awoke, I came unto them, and they were all sitting gathered together, weeping in a Belzel, which is between Lebanon and Sinesir, with their faces covered. And I recounted before them all the visions which I had seen in sleep, and I began to speak the words of righteousness, and to reprimand the watchers of the Shemaim. Chapter 14. The book of the words of righteousness, and of the reprimand of the eternal watchers, in accordance with the command of the Kadash Great One in that vision. And I saw in my sleep what I will now say with a tongue of flesh and with the breath of my mouth, which the Great One has given to men to converse with and to understand with the heart. As he has created and given to man the power of understanding the word of wisdom, so has he created me also and given me the power of reprimanding the watchers, the children of the Shemaim. I wrote out your petition, and in my vision it appeared thus, that your petition will not be granted unto you throughout all the days of eternity, and that judgment has been finally passed upon you. Even so will not be granted unto you. And now, from here on, you shall not ascend into the Shemaim unto all eternity, and in bonds of the earth a decree has gone forth to bind you for all the days of the world. And previously you shall have seen the destruction of your beloved sons, and you shall have no pleasure in them, but they shall fall before you by the sword. And your petition on their behalf shall not be granted, nor yet on your own, even though you weep and pray and speak all the words contained in the writing which I have written. And the vision was shown to me thus. See, in the vision, clouds invited me, and a mist summoned me. And the course of the stars and the lightnings sped and hastened me, and the winds in the vision caused me to fly, and lifted me upward, and carried me into the Shemaim. And I went in till I drew near to a wall, which is built of crystals, and surrounded by tongues of fire, and it began to terrorize me. And I went into the tongues of fire, and drew near to a large house, which was built of crystals. And the walls of the house were like a mosaic floor of crystals, and its groundwork was of crystal. Its ceiling was like the path of the stars and the lightnings, and between them were fiery cherubim. And their Shemaim was as water. A flaming fire surrounded the walls, and its portals blazed with fire. And I entered into that house, and it was hot as fire and cold as ice. There were no delights of life therein. Fear covered me, and trembling took hold of me. And as I quaked and trembled, I fell upon my face. And I saw a vision, and see, there was a second house, greater than the former, and the entire portal stood open before me, and it was built of flames of fire. and in every respect it so excelled in splendor and magnificence and extent that I cannot describe to you its splendor and its extent. And its floor was of fire, and above it were lightnings and the path of the stars, and its ceiling also was flaming fire. And I looked and saw therein a high throne, its appearance as crystal, and the wheels thereof as the shining sun. And there was the vision of cherubim. And from underneath the throne came streams of flaming fire, so that I could not look upon it. And the great esteem sat upon it, and his garments shone more brightly than the sun, and were whiter than any snow. None of the messengers could enter and look upon his face because of the magnificence and esteem, and no flesh could look upon him. The flaming fire was round about him, and a great fire stood before him, and none around could draw near to him. 10,000 times 10,000 before him, yet he needed no counselor. And the most Kodeshim who were near to him did not leave by night, nor depart from him. And until then I had been prostrate on my face, trembling. And Yahuwah called me with his own mouth, and said to me, Come here, Hanak, and hear my word. And one of the Kodeshim came to me and woke me, and he made me rise up and approach the door, and I bowed my face downwards. Chapter 15. And he answered and said to me, and I heard his voice, Fear not, Hanak, you righteous man and scribe of righteousness. Approach here and hear my voice, and go, say to the watchers of the Shemaim, who have sent you to intercede for them, you should intercede for men, and not men for you. Why have you left the high Kodesh and eternal Shemaim, and lain with women, and defiled yourselves with the daughters of men, and taken to yourselves wives, and done like the children of earth, and begotten giants as sons? And though you were Kodesh, spiritual, living the eternal high, you have defiled yourselves with the blood of women, and have brought forth with the blood of flesh, and, as the children of men have lusted after flesh and blood, as those also do who die and perish. Therefore have I given them wives, also that they might impregnate them, and bring forth children by them, that thus none might be lacking to them on earth. But you were formerly spiritual, living the eternal high, and immortal for all generations of the world. And therefore I have not appointed wives for you, for as the spiritual ones of the Shemaim, in the Shemaim is their dwelling. And now the giants, who are produced from the spirits and flesh, shall be called evil spirits upon the earth, and on the earth shall be their dwelling. Evil spirits have proceeded from their bodies, because they are born from men, and from the Kodesh watchers is their beginning and primal origin. They shall be evil spirits on earth, and evil spirits shall they be called. As for the spirits of the Shemaim, in the Shemaim shall be their dwelling. But as for the spirits of the earth, which were born upon the earth, and on the earth shall be their dwelling. And the spirits of the giants afflict, oppress, destroy, attack, do battle, and work destruction on earth, and cause trouble. They take no food, but nevertheless hunger and thirst, and cause offenses. And these spirits shall rise up against the children of men, and against the women, because they have proceeded from them. Chapter 16. From the days of the slaughter and destruction and death of the giants, from the beings of whose flesh the spirits, having gone forth, shall destroy without incurring judgment, thus shall they destroy until the day of the complete end, the great judgment, in which the age shall be ended, over the watchers and the wicked, even so shall be completely ended. And now, as to the watchers who have sent you to intercede for them, who had been previously in the Shemaim, say to them, You have been in the Shemaim, but all the mysteries had not yet been revealed to you, and you knew worthless matters, and these, in the hardness of your hearts, you have made known to the women, and through these mysteries women and men work much evil on earth. Say to them, therefore, You have no peace. Chapter 17. And they took and brought me to a place in which those who were there were like flaming fire, and when they wanted, they appeared as men. And they brought me to the place of darkness, and to a mountain, the point of whose summit reached to the Shemaim. And I saw the places of the lights, and the treasuries of the stars, and of the thunder, and in the uttermost depths, where there were a fiery bow and arrows, and their quiver, and a fiery sword, and all the lightnings. And they took me to the living waters, and to the fire of the west, which receives every going down of the sun. And I came to a river of fire, in which the fire flows like water, and discharges itself into the great sea towards the west. I saw the great rivers, and came to the great river, and to the great darkness, and went to the place where no flesh walks. I saw the mountains of the darkness of winter, and the place where all the waters of the deep flow. I saw the mouths of all the rivers of the earth, and the mouth of the deep. Chapter 18. I saw the treasuries of all the winds. I saw how he had furnished with them the whole creation and the firm foundations of the earth. And I saw the cornerstone of the earth. I saw the four winds which bear the earth and the firmament of the Shemaim. I saw how the winds stretch out the vaults of the Shemaim and have their station between the Shemaim and earth. These are the pillars of the Shemaim. I saw the winds of the Shemaim which turn and bring the circumference of the sun and all the stars to their going down. I saw the winds on the earth, carrying the clouds. I saw the paths of the messengers. I saw at the end of the earth the firmament of the Shemaim above. And I proceeded and saw a place which burns day and night, where there are 7 mountains of magnificent stones, 3 towards the east and 3 towards the south. As for those towards the east, one was of colored stone, and one was of pearl, and one of jacinth, and those towards the south of red stone. But in the middle, one reached to the Shemaim like the throne of Elohim, of alabaster, and the summit of the throne was of sapphire. And I saw a flaming fire, and beyond these mountains is a region, the end of the great earth. There the Shemaim were completed. And I saw a deep abyss, with columns of fire of the Shemaim, and among them I saw columns of fire fall, which were beyond measure, alike towards the height and towards the depth. And beyond that abyss I saw a place which had no firmament of the Shemaim above, and no firmly founded earth beneath it. There was no water upon it, and no birds, but it was like a waste and horrible place. I saw there 7 stars like great burning mountains. And to me, when I inquired regarding them, the messenger said, This place is the end of the Shemaim and earth. This has become a prison for the stars and the hosts of the Shemaim. And the stars which roll over the fire are they which have transgressed the commandment of Yahuwah in the beginning of their rising, because they did not come forth at their appointed times. And he was wroth with them, and bound them till the time when their guilt should be completely ended, for 10,000 years. Chapter 19. And Uriel said to me, Here shall stand the messengers who have connected themselves with women, and their spirits, assuming many different forms, are defiling mankind, and shall lead them astray into sacrificing to demons as mighty ones, till the day of the great judgment, in which they shall be rightly ruled, till they are made an end of. And the women also of the messengers who went astray shall become demons. And I, Enoch, alone saw the vision, the end of all matters, and no man shall see as I have seen. Chapter 20. And these are the names of the Kodesh messengers who watch. Uriel, one of the Kodesh messengers, who is over the world and over Gehinnom. Raphael, one of the Kodesh messengers, who is over the spirits of men. Raguel, one of the Kodesh messengers, who takes vengeance on the world of the lights. Michael, one of the Kodesh messengers, in order that he is appointed over the best part of mankind and over disorder. Sarakel, one of the Kodesh messengers, who is appointed over the spirits who sin in the spirit. Gabriel, one of the Kodesh messengers, who is over the paradise and the serpents and the cherubim. And Ramiel, one of the Kodesh messengers, whom Elohim appointed over those who rise. Chapter 21. And I proceeded to where matters were disordered, and I saw there some horrible matter. I saw neither a Shemaim above, nor a firmly founded earth, but a place disorderly and horrible. And there I saw 7 stars of the Shemaim bound together in it, like great mountains and burning with fire. Then I said, For what sin are they bound, and on what account have they been cast in here? Then spoke Uriel, one of the Kodesh messengers who was with me, and was chief over them, and said, Hanak, why do you ask, and why are you eager for the truth? These are the number of the stars of the Shemaim, which have transgressed the command of Yahuwah, and are bound here till 10,000 years. The time entailed by their sins are ended. And from there I went to another place, which was still more horrible than the former. And I saw a horrible matter, a great fire there, which burnt and blazed, and the place was divided as far as the abyss, being full of great descending columns of fire. Neither its extent or magnitude could I see, nor could I guess. Then I said, "How fearful is the place, and how terrible to look upon!" Then Uriel answered me, one of the Kodesh messengers who was with me, and said to me, "Hanak, why have you such fear and terror?" And I answered, "Because of this fearful place, and because of the spectacle of the pain." And he said to me, "This place is the prison of the messengers, and here they will be imprisoned forever." Chapter 22. And then I went to another place, and he showed me in the west another great and high mountain of hard rock. And there was in it 4 hollow places, deep and wide and very smooth. How smooth are the hollow places, and deep and dark to look at! Then Raphael answered, one of the Kodesh messengers who was with me, and said to me, "These hollow places have been created for this very purpose, that the spirits of the beings of the dead should assemble there, even that all the beings of the children of men should assemble here. And these places have been made to receive them till the day of their judgment, and till their appointed time, till the great judgment is upon them. I saw the spirits of the children of men who were dead, and the voice went forth to the Shemaim and petitioned. And I asked Raphael, the messenger who was with me, and I said to him, "This spirit, whose is it whose voice goes forth and petitions?" And he answered me, saying, "This is the spirit which went forth from Hebel, whom his brother Cain slew, and he makes his petition against him till his seed is destroyed from the face of the earth, and his seed is annihilated from amongst the seed of men." Then I asked regarding it, and regarding all the hollow places, "Why is one separated from the other?" And he answered me and said to me, "These 3 have been made, that the spirits of the dead might be separated, and such a division has been made for the spirits of the righteous, in which there is the bright spring of water. And such has been made for sinners, when they die and are buried in the earth, and judgment has not been executed on them in their lifetime. Here their spirits shall be put aside in this great pain till the great day of judgment and punishment and torment of the accursed forever, and retribution for their spirits. There he shall bind them forever. And such a division has been made for the spirits of those who make their petition, who make disclosures concerning their destruction when they were slain in the days of sinners. Such has been made for the spirits of men who were not righteous, but sinners, who were complete in transgression. And of the transgressors they shall be companions, but their spirits shall not be slain in the day of judgment, nor shall they be raised from there. Then I barak Yahuwah of esteem, and said, "Baruch be Adonai, Yahuwah of righteousness, who rules forever." Chapter 23. From there I went to another place, to the west of the ends of the earth. And I saw a burning fire which ran without resting, and did not cease from its course day or night, but regularly. And I asked, saying, "What is this which does not rest?" Then Raguel, one of the Kodesh messengers who was with me, answered me and said to me, "This course of fire which you have seen is the fire of the west, which pursues all the lights of the Shemaim." Chapter 24. And from there I went to another place of the earth, and he showed me a mountain range of fire which burnt day and night. And I went beyond it and saw 7 magnificent mountains, all differing each from the other. And the stones were magnificent and pleasant, magnificent as a whole, of magnificent appearance and fair exterior. 3 towards the east, one founded on the other, and 3 towards the south, one upon the other, and deep rough ravines, none of which joined with any other. And the 7th mountain was in the midst of these, and it excelled them in height, resembling the seat of a throne, and fragrant trees encircled the throne. And amongst them was a tree such as I had never yet smelled, neither was any amongst them, nor were others like it. It had a fragrance beyond all fragrance, and its leaves and blooms and wood wither not forever, and its fruit is pleasant, and its fruit resembles the dates of a palm. Then I said, "How pleasant is this tree, and fragrant, and its leaves are fair, and its blooms very delightful in appearance. Then answered Michael, one of the Kodesh and honored messengers who was with me, and was their leader. Chapter 25. And he said to me, Hanak, why do you ask me regarding the fragrance of the tree, and why do you want to learn the truth? Then I answered him, saying, I want to know about all matters, but especially about this tree. And he answered, saying, This high mountain which you have seen, whose summit is like the throne of Elohim, is his throne, where the Kodesh Great One, Yahuwah of esteem, the eternal sovereign, will sit when he shall come down to visit the earth with goodness. And as for this fragrant tree, no mortal is permitted to touch it till the great judgment, when he shall take vengeance on all and bring to its end forever. It shall then be given to the righteous and Kodesh. Its fruit shall be for food to the elect. It shall be transplanted to the Kodesh place, to the Hakel of Yahweh, the eternal sovereign. Then they shall rejoice with joy and be glad. And into the Kodesh place they shall enter, and its fragrance shall be in their bones, and they shall live a long life on earth, such as your fathers lived. And in their days shall no sorrow, or plague, or torment, or calamity touch them. Then I Barak the Elohim of esteem, the eternal sovereign, who has prepared such matters for the righteous, and has created them and promised to give to them. Chapter 26. And I went from there to the middle of the earth, and I saw a Baruch place in which there were trees with branches abiding and blooming. And there I saw a Kodesh mountain, and underneath the mountain to the east there was a stream, and it flowed toward the south. And I saw towards the east another mountain, higher than this, and between them a deep and narrow ravine, wherein also ran a stream underneath the mountain. And to the west of there was another mountain, lower than the former, and of small height, and a ravine deep and dry between them. And another deep and dry ravine was at the extremities of the three mountains. And all the ravines were deep and narrow, of hard rock, and trees were not planted upon them. And I marveled at the rocks, and I marveled at the ravine. Truly, I marveled very much. Chapter 27. Then I said, For what object is this Baruch land, which is entirely filled with trees, and this accursed valley between? Then Uriel, one of the Kodesh messengers who was with me, answered and said, This accursed valley is for those who are accursed forever. Here shall all the accursed be gathered together who utter with their lips against Yahuwah indecent words, and of his esteem speak harshness. Here shall they be gathered together, and here shall be their place of judgment in the last days. There shall be upon them the spectacle of righteous judgment in the presence of the righteous forever. Here shall the compassionate Barak Yahuwah of esteem, the eternal sovereign. In the days of judgment over the former, they shall Barak him for the compassion in accordance with which he has assigned them. Then I Barak Yahuwah of esteem, and proclaimed his esteem, and exalted him magnificently. Chapter 28. And then I went towards the east, into the midst of the mountain range of the desert. And I saw a wilderness, and it was solitary, full of trees and plants, and water gushed forth from above. Rushing like a plentiful watercourse towards the northwest, it caused clouds and dew to ascend on every side. Chapter 29. And then I went to another place in the desert, approached to the east of this mountain range. And I there saw aromatic trees exhaling the fragrance of frankincense and myrrh, and the trees also were similar to the almond tree. Chapter 30. And beyond these I went far to the east, and I saw another place, a valley of water, and therein there was a tree, the color of fragrant trees, such as the gum tree. And on the sides of those valleys I saw fragrant cinnamon. And beyond these I proceeded to the east. Chapter 31. And I saw other mountains, and amongst them were groves of trees, and there sweet liquid flowed forth from them, which is named Surara and Galbanum. And beyond these mountains I saw another mountain to the east of the ends of the earth, whereon were aloe trees, and all the trees were full of incense, being like almond trees. And when one burnt it, it smelled sweeter than any fragrant odor. Chapter 32. And after these fragrant odors, as I looked towards the north over the mountains, I saw 7 mountains full of choice nard and fragrant trees, and cinnamon and pepper. And then I went over the summits of all these mountains, far towards the east of the earth, and passed over the eastern sea, and went far from it, and passed over the messenger Zotiel. And I came to the garden of righteousness, and saw beyond those trees many large trees growing there, of pleasant fragrance, large, very pleasant, and great, and the tree of wisdom, of which they eat and know great wisdom. That tree is in height like the fir, and its leaves are like the carob tree, and its fruit is like the clusters of the vine, very lovely. And the fragrance of the tree penetrates afar. Then I said, how lovely is the tree, and how good to look at. Then Raphael, the Kodesh messenger who was with me, answered me and said, this is the tree of wisdom, of which your elderly father and your aged mother, who were before you, have eaten, and they learned wisdom, and their eyes were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they were driven out of the garden. Chapter 33. And from there I went to the ends of the earth, and saw there great beasts, and each differed from the other, and birds also differing in appearance and form and voice, the one differing from the other. And to the east of those beasts I saw the ends of the earth, whereon the Shemaim rests, and the portals of the Shemaim open. And I saw how the stars of the Shemaim come forth, and I counted the portals out of which they proceed, and wrote down all their outlets, of each individual star by itself, according to their number and their names, their courses and their positions, and their times and their months, as Uriel the Kodesh messenger who was with me showed me. He showed all matters to me, and wrote them down for me. Also their names he wrote for me, and their laws and their beginnings. Chapter 34. And from there I went towards the north to the ends of the earth, and there I saw a great and magnificent object at the ends of the whole earth. And here, Yahuwah of hosts, I saw 3 portals of the Shemaim open in the Shemaim. Through each of them proceed north winds. When they blow, there is cold, hail, frost, snow, dew, and rain. And out of one portal they blow for good. But when they blow through the other 2 portals, it is with violence and affliction on the earth, and they blow with violence. Chapter 35. And from there I went towards the west to the ends of the earth, and saw there 3 portals of the Shemaim open, such as I had seen in the east, the same number of portals and the same number of outlets. Chapter 36. And from there I went to the south to the ends of the earth, and saw there 3 open portals of the Shemaim, and then there come dew, rain, and wind. And from there I went to the east to the ends of the Shemaim, and saw where the 3 eastern portals of the Shemaim open, and small portals above them. Through each of these small portals pass the stars of the Shemaim, and run their course to the west on the path which is shown to them. And as often as I saw, I barak always Yahuwah of esteem, and I continued to barak Yahuwah of esteem, who has wrought great and magnificent wonders, to show the greatness of his work to the messengers, and to spirits, and to men, that they might praise his work and all his creation, that they might see the work of his might, and praise the great work of his hands, and barak him forever.